Chesapeake Bay here, near Kent Island, Maryland, and the quality of the water where we are right here is very much dependent on what happens 350 miles away in Cooperstown, New York. That's where the Susquehanna River begins, and where many of the problems begin for the Chesapeake Bay. All the water here in New York's Otsego Lake will ultimately flow south to the Chesapeake Bay. But along the way, this water is going to pick up a lot of toxins. We're talking about farm fertilizer, sewage, industrial waste, cow and chicken manure, and all of that stuff is what's killing the fish, the crabs, and the oysters in the bay because it's sucking all of the oxygen right out of the water. Dr. Beth McGee with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. Obvious but important question. Why is clean water in the Chesapeake Bay so important?
A lot of people move to Maryland because of the bay. They like to fish in the bay, they like to swim in the bay.
Are New York and Pennsylvania living up to their end of the bargain to keep the bay clean?
Pennsylvania, no. New York, maybe.
This is a no-till strip here, and I haven't really planted. I did plant some clover.
Wendy Walsh, we're here in Tioga County, New York. You are a project manager for the Upper Susquehanna Coalition. Why did you bring us out here today? What did you want us to see?
I wanted to give you an example of conservation work that's happening in the watershed and the upper parts of the Susquehanna River watershed to show the impacts that we're making and the benefits that we're providing to the Chesapeake Bay.
So this is a riparian forest buffer. Our buffer is naturally filtering nitrogen, phosphorus, sediment that's coming off the hillside and keeping it out of the stream.
So that's critical. I mean, having something like that is super important.
Absolutely.
So the riparian buffer is just one component of several that have been incorporated on this farm.
Correct.
What are some of the things that you've done here on the farm?
Built fences, what I could make, and then managed water systems for it. Also made a water tank.
You sound like you want to incorporate a lot of environmentally friendly practices here, but then there's also a kind of a financial part to that too, where I'm sure you can't do everything you want to do because it would drive you out of business.
Exactly. And that's some of the problems that farmers have.
Agriculture is the largest pollution source coming into the bay. Pennsylvania has a huge farming industry, and so the challenge really there is getting their 32-something thousand farms to do things that we need to do for clean water.
So we've made our way downstream now. We're in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, at the Turkey Hill Ice Cream Factory with Derek Fry. Derek, you work here. You say that the Chesapeake Bay is important to you. It's important to Turkey Hill. What are you guys doing?
Any farm that supplies us with milk has signed on and agreed that they will participate in all of the clean water regulations. So that's a prerequisite just to do business with us.
Janae Klingler, we're here on a farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and you work for a local milk producers co-op. So tell us about that. Tell us what we're doing here.
We are working with the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay to support our dairy farmers and putting in conservation practices on their farms. This is a manure storage pit, and this will allow the farm to collect all of the nutrients that the cows are producing in their manure.
To have a manure pit like this is helping to keep all of the bad stuff from flowing into the streams and then ultimately into the Susquehanna.
Right? Yep.
You have to sell these farmers on these conservation practices. Is it a hard sell?
You know what? Farmers want to do the right thing, and many times doing the right thing is not cheap.
How much of the things that they've done on this farm are making a difference for the quality of the water and for the Chesapeake Bay?
I think it's made a huge difference over the years. They're implementing them more and more, and you can see that in the statistics of the runoff that's in the bay, of the nutrients that are in the bay. It's gone down over the last several years.